Hey, welcome to the channel. We hope that you enjoy today's stories and check out the chapters on the video to see all the stories for today. But before we get into this video, subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon to get notified when we release a new video. So let's get into the video.
What is the most attractive thing a woman can do on the first date?
Experience 1. My current girlfriend and I went out to eat at a restaurant, and I was terribly nervous as she was intelligent, attractive, and 100% my type. Apparently, she read me very well and how nervous I was, and she looked me in the eye and told me not to be nervous. It was our first date, and it was going to be a great time, and she wanted to get to know the real me. If it was how she said it, or the fact that she saw it and had the confidence to let me know it was going to be okay, but it immediately calmed me down and made me feel comfortable with her. That was the most attractive thing any girl has ever done and a huge reason why I will be proposing to her soon. Edit. Thank you for the updates and awards. To clarify, our first date was a while ago. I'm not proposing to her after the first date, I just thought I would share the memory. Experience 2. I'm going to do a crap job explaining this, but when I can tell she wants me and not that she wants a boyfriend. Sometimes it feels like the person just really wants a boyfriend and is somewhat holding a job interview to determine if I am suitable for the position. I don't want that. If I can tell she just wants to be with me because she wants to be around me, that's when I feel attracted. It could be any little thing, like initiating hand-holding, her extending the date to suggest a walk, or even just a look in their eyes. One of my biggest insecurities is that someone is just tolerating me. If I pick up that sense on a date, it will immediately kill any vibe I had and make me withdraw. Experience 3. Being authentic. My wife told me about her flaws on our first date, told me her dating history, etc. All these things that she was horrified to say, but was so tired of the dating scene that she just felt like getting it all out up front. I found it so authentic and courageous, a person that wanted to be herself and didn't want to fake it for anyone any longer. Experience 4. My now wife completely tanked our first date. There were layoffs at her company, her best friend had just backstabbed her family was having issues, etc. On the one hand, I appreciated her authenticity and courageousness to just wear her heart on her sleeve. On the other hand, the entire date was just one huge freaking red flag. I was also going on a lot of dates looking for a long-term fit and was texting girls left and right if I didn't feel like a second or third date was necessary, as I really wanted to be intentional about getting into a relationship. I had my guard up and was ready to cut it if it went south, but I decided that she was having a bad day and that there was something there, and I wanted to give her a shot on a second date. I had shared on our first date that, growing up, I loved those microwavable pies you could get at gas stations and especially loved apples. When I showed up for our second date, she had a gas station apple pie waiting for me as an apology for the first date, and bam, we were off. Knew I wanted to marry her after our third date. Experience 4. Look me dead in the eye, sit a little closer than normal, and completely annihilate my comfort zone. Experience 5. Holding my hand whilst walking back from the date. I don't care how the date went, but if you're grabbing my hand to hold it whilst walking, I just melt completely. I find that kind of confidence the most attractive thing ever. Experience 6. Most of the answers here are things that should be expected. A woman not being on her phone is the most attractive thing she can do. Those are some really low expectations. Experience 7. On our first date, it was 2 things. 1. Went for the hug, then stopped herself and looked shy. It was a good sign things were going to go well. 2. Accidentally brushed her hand on the second date and she grabbed it and held it under the table. So, affirming. Married for 15 years so far. Edit. Oh my, so many amazing comments and lovely responses. Thank you so much, all you champions. Experience 8. Chivalry aside, the little eye contact / lip bite thing some women do should be banned as a pickup tactic for being far too effective. I will be colorblind to every red flag the second that happens. Experience 9. So, I swiped right on this girl on Tinder. Chatted for a bit, set up a date, and then the night before she asked what I was up to, I was meeting with friends. She tagged along, and she did the most awesome thing ever. She got along great with everyone. I know it's not a date thing, but we're married now. She's the best.
Do you like listening to these stories? Do you want to hear more of them? Then click that like button, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. And check the description for links to more videos and interesting stories.
Experience 10. I went on my first date with a woman in her mid-30s, becoming a doctor, after living in Alaska where she started a small business flying people places. She was soft-spoken, wicked smart, and of model-esque stature. I was in my late 20s, kind of in my dirty gives no freaks, bike everywhere period of my life. The date went well, and when it ended, she offered to walk me to my bike. I threw my jacket on and gave her a hug. When I backed up, she gently held my jacket, zipped it up, straightened out my collar, and put her hand on my chest while keeping eye contact. She did it in such a caring, sexual, and confident way my mind broke. I simultaneously felt loved, taken care of, and aroused at the same time. I've honestly never felt taken care of like that in my entire life, sad I know. There is something to be said about a woman who can demonstrate emotional intelligence through touch and a look alone. Experience 11. I love when someone just makes an effort. I've had dates where people look like they wandered off the street, but I always remember the people who just made an effort to look nice. Experience 12. I went on a date with this woman a few years ago and she ordered a milkshake with whipped cream on top. She did this trick where she put her lips on the whipped cream and sucked in, and all the whipped cream was gone instantly. LOL. Right at that moment, she looked me in the eyes and winked. I was so hard the table almost flipped over. Experience 13. No one wants to be on a date where you feel like you are trying to ask all the questions or lead the conversation constantly. I assume this works both ways. I will say though, most guys won't understand subtle signs like brushing your hand through your hair or playing with your hair, etc. I've heard these mentioned before. Physical contact, even low levels of kissing on the cheek or taking a hand, are clear. Experience 14. I have a friend who was telling me about her first date with her now husband. They got drunk and she showed him all of her nudes on her phone as a kind of drunken, I'm not easy so you have to wait, but this is what you get if you do wait, and I think that would do a pretty good job of making me wait. Experience 15. Try and be positive and optimistic about life. Goes for both sexes. I know everyone has insecurities and baggage that they carry, but rather reveal those in layers than literally offloading on the first date. Experience 16. I've only ever dated girls I've been friends with for years. So, this all seems weird. But I'll play. The most attractive thing a girl can do is realize I'm too dumb to pick up on any signal and blatantly tell me what she'd like to do with me. Experience 17. Not make me, the man, lead the conversation the whole date. I am more than willing to lead you along 50% of the time, but it can be really grueling to just get 2-second answers from you. It makes me believe that maybe you don't see us as compatible and are just being nice by not ditching. When choosing between two women, it will always be the one who made me feel heard and seen, because men have needs too. And guess what? I did choose the one who made me feel seen. We will have been married 8 years in May. Experience 18. Oh, I have another thing to add. This is sexier advice. Me and my fiancée, on our first date, played a few games of pool at a bar. After a few drinks, we started making bets. Do you see where this is going? The bets started getting more and more sexual in nature, which let us know exactly how interested we were in each other, and it also served to give consent in advance, so there was no awkwardness. Am I coming home with her? Am I just dropping her off? Should I kiss her? Is she really into me? The last bet was her betting me to take her home and film us. Doing something, haha. I lost that one by sinking the 8 ball almost instantly. Oops, I said. The rest of the night was magic. Experience 19. Went on a date once where it was understood beforehand that nothing too wild was going to happen that night, which I kind of prefer. We both seemed to be enjoying getting to know each other from what I could tell, and I thought a second date would probably be nice if she was up for it. About that time, we were walking to get some ice cream and she leaned over and whispered in my ear, "I'm having fun." Holy hell. I barely remember the second half of that date because all I could think about was asking her for another one. Experience 20. Try to save your money. On the first date with my now wife, we went to a restaurant and ordered 2 of the same beers and an app. The place was taking forever and we wanted to get out of there. I was 100% paying for everything and didn't care, but when the bill came, the beers were 2 different prices. Like $2.99 and $7. I chuckled about it and was prepared to pay. She was like, "No. That's not okay." She pointed it out to the waitress who was like, "HRRMM." Then she came back and said, "Well, it was happy hour when I rang up the first beer and it wasn't when I rang up the second somehow," and drops off a new bill where both beers were $7. I died laughing. I said it's cool and tried paying, but she was like, "No. This is not okay," and got really frustrated. I sat back and thought, this girl is already willing to treat my money like it's hers and protect it versus spend it. I had never seen or heard of any girl do that on a date, and it just really impressed me. I didn't even know I wanted that, but it made her 10,000% more attractive to me. She is my wife now, and we have been together for over a decade and are great partners. Experience 21. My fiancé and I had known each other as acquaintances for about 7 years before we got together. He was married most of that time. We lost touch for a few years as I moved away, and he was, unbeknownst to me, dealing with divorce, etc. I moved back to the same city, and I was out with my friends in a pub. And we literally bumped into each other. I wasn't looking/paying attention to my surroundings, lol. When he realized who bumped into him, his eyes sparkled and he picked me up and spun me around, holding me tight. Nobody has ever looked at me the way he looks at me, and nobody has ever made me feel the way he does. His energy is so pure, and he's the one person I can talk to about anything. Anything. From deep insecurities and traumas to the possibility of life in outer space, and everything in between and beyond. He's my person. My best friend and the best lover. We're getting married in 26 days, exactly 4 years after I nearly knocked him over.
We hope you enjoyed listening to today's stories. If you want to see more stories, check out these videos or check the links in the description for more videos. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And ring that notification bell.